So if you've been on my channel for a while and my old channels, you know that I've done quite a few videos about biker gangs, especially the Outlaws motorcycle club, which is based here in Chicago. That's why I've done a lot of videos on it. And, there's a controversy about whether to call it a club or a gang, but that's some matter of opinion. I think in this particular video, I'm going to cover a topic which shows why many people refer to them as a gang. But this is an international criminal organization now. It engages in a lot of criminal activity. And there's just recently been an arrest of German nationals in Thailand for a murder involving another German citizen. And the exact motive of this so far is unknown, but these guys were affiliated with the Outlaws MC. And I'll get right into the details. So this is from Pattaya, Thailand. They said 3 German nationals were arrested for the murder of a 62-year-old German businessman. And this businessman's name was Han Peter Walter Mack. And this is in a province in Thailand called Chonburi province. There was a 52-year-old who was arrested. He was arrested, I believe, last Tuesday evening in, I'm probably going to say this wrong, but Bangna, Bangkok in Thailand. And he was a suspect in the kidnapping and murder of that businessman. There's also a woman named Petra Crystal Grungreeve, who's a 47-year-old German, and a guy named Mr. Saruk Karim Uddin, who's 27. And he's Pakistani. I'm sorry, with Thai citizenship, so he's not German. So the two of them were German, one was Pakistani. And police had found this guy Mac, who was German, who was 62. His body was dismembered. He had been missing since July 4th. He was inside of a large freezer. They found it on Monday night in a place called Nang Pru district in Chonburi, Thailand. So they detained a guy named Olaf Thorsten Brinkman, who's 52 years old. And he is apparently, like I said, affiliated with the Outlaws MC. So one of the police or one of the military guys over there in Thailand, a guy named Surachate Hakparn, who's the deputy national police chief, disclosed the suspect's timeline that the gang had been planning for more than a month, and they said they were well prepared. So a target was pointed out by the German woman who they said tricked this German guy into coming into a house, and I don't know what they were trying to get out of him, but they said they knew that he was a rich man. So they transferred about 3 million of the currency over there into 10 different destination accounts. The police are waiting back on more reports from the bank to see what else they were doing, but more arrest warrants for all of the mule accounts may be issued. So the detectives have been following up leads based on security camera video. The Germans were apprehended by police in a place called Nang Pru on Tuesday, and they were charged with colluding in theft and murder. The police charged another German national, a woman named Nicole Frevel, who's 52, with moving that guy Mac's body to conceal the death, and she's the tenant of the house where the freezer was kept. So the cops had requested a pretrial detention for the suspects, and the main suspect, that guy Brinkman, he had refused to talk to investigators, claiming that he must be accompanied by his lawyer at all times. So the general said the police are investigating if there are any Thai suspects assisting the outlaw criminal gang run by Mr. Brinkman. So I don't know if he's the head of the Outlaws over there. It said that it's run by him, but it doesn't say, what exactly his position is in the organization. They said these transnational criminal gangs, this is a statement by the police, they said are run by foreigners who reside in Tambang Nang Pru and in Banglamung district. Any expats who would like to do business in Pattaya areas must be in contact with these mafias. So they called them mafias, the Thai police did. The police, they said, had been ordered to enforce a crackdown on them. He added those suspects who were involved in such crimes will have their tourist visas revoked and eventually be deported. I know the Outlaws are deep in Europe, and apparently these guys may be sent back to Europe, but the general said that the motive behind the murder might have been the result of a conflict between this guy Mac and the suspects. They said the outlaw gang has a reputation for extorting money from foreign investors in Thailand. So several of the media outlets in Thailand were giving a little bit different reports about the motive. One of them made it seem like they were trying to get something, monetary from him. Another one made it appear like it was more of some type of beef that they had going on. But I couldn't get any definitive answers on that. So the general also stated that a case of this nature must be dealt with rapidly because these criminals are familiar with narcotics gangs and transnational criminal organizations in Thailand. They said locals are aware that these types of groups have existed in the past. So you see how far the Outlaws MC has spread. And it's interesting, there's a lot of gangs from other countries obviously doing business here, but typically what I observe, man, the the gangs that are from other countries tend to be more low key than the homegrown gangs, if you know what I mean. Like, I mean, you go out there, you can see like the gangs that are based here all over the place, and it's obvious where they're at. It's obvious like pretty much what they're doing. The gangs that are from other countries, man, they definitely stay under the radar a lot more. Let me know in the comments if you guys have noticed that too, man. But you don't find out about like what they were doing until they get booked for something. But again, like the murder of this guy, the murder always blows open, whatever operation they had going on for money. And so I don't know why guys do it, to be honest with you. I mean, the murder thing always messes up the hustle. Always messes up the hustle, man. And guys end up in prison, getting out broke. The lesson to take away from it is be careful who you trust, and who, like, do your homework on who you're getting involved with. Because if somebody got connection to some organized crime or some gang or something like that, and you're going over to their house and you've got money, I mean, you're taking a big risk. So always, always, always be careful who you trust. This is especially true for women. You got to be careful who you trust. There's been a lot of like really creepy stuff going on in Chicago over the last week, man. I haven't done stories on it, but there's been women getting abducted, raped. I mean, all types of nasty stuff going on, man. 2 babies were found dead over at a daycare facility downtown. So you definitely gotta do your homework on who you're getting involved with and be careful who you trust. But this guy, they were suggesting may have been lured into this house, and now his body was found dismembered. Okay, anytime something like this happens in the U.S., I mean, people in America are big conspiracy theorists, and so anytime something like this happens, there's always a lot of conspiracy theories that pop up about it. And this reminded me of the Kanika Jenkins case because of the freezer. You know what I'm saying? Now, her body was not dismembered. As far as her organs missing, I never heard of anything like that. But that case, it drew a lot of attention. Now, there's people murdered in Chicago every day, like every day. And, for some reason, I mean, that case got more attention. What I noticed is that, like, when the way that the person dies is particularly gruesome, it tends to get more attention than when the person is just shot and left for dead in the street, even though the end result is the same, obviously. But, I mean, that Kanika Jenkins case, man, it got so much attention. So I wonder if this case is getting that much attention over there in Thailand. But when these guys do this kind of stuff and they, kill the person in that way, it ends up just destroying everything for them. Now, Kanika, guys, I know there was a lot of people saying that she was killed. I personally don't believe she was killed. I think, honestly, I think their theory was correct. Like, she just stumbled into the freezer and fell asleep in the freezer due to intoxication. Like, when I saw her walking down the hall, she was totally... But a lot of conspiracy theories started, and people said that was why Zach TV got killed. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think everything that the police saw was just what was there. Like, he got killed by those guys, Perry Ave, over there that night, and that was that. It wasn't about Kanika. It wasn't about none of that stuff, man. So, bodies in the freezer, it's a bad look, and it gets a lot of negative attention, but it's the same result as every other murder. And honestly, like, this type of stuff shouldn't get more attention than every other murder, but Kanika, I don't think was a murder. It reminded me of that case, but I don't think that was a murder. But yeah, let me know what you guys think though in the comment section, man. This is your boy Winnie Report. I don't know.